everybody, welcome back. Am I the a-hole for exposing my best friend's affair? I have a new one. I didn't set it up yet. I didn't open it yet. I probably should.
I'm lazy.
Welcome back to another story time with Charlotte Dobre. This story is from the Charlotte Dobre YouTube subreddit. So am I the a-hole for exposing my best friend's hidden affair because they were mean to me after I was announced valedictorian?
Pipe it up, pipe it up, pipe it up.
Hi. I'm 26, female, and a little context to the story is that I graduated law school just a few months ago as valedictorian. Oh, so you like smart. You like a smarty pants or whatever. Good for you. Congratulations. Love that for you. I was part of a friend group of 8 people, including me, i.e. 3 girls and 4 boys to be called Marie, Yina, Fred, Steve, Norman, Alex, and Matt. The history is messy, so let me try to clarify as brief as I can. 2 of the members of the group were already in a relationship. Marie was my best friend. Her boyfriend, Fred, is the OG joker of the group, who is also a bully. I only became friends with Fred because Marie wanted me to. Either way, after the midterms, we figured out that all 3 high scorers of the batch of 2019, which comprised 150 students, were from our group, i.e. Yina, me, and Alex. It was that moment that made me realize that maybe I got something here. I was always an average student, but this started being fun to me. So the next 5 years in law school, Yina and I were neck to neck in competition, but we were never hostile, or so I thought. Ooh, we got some resentment brewing. We got some jealousy. Now let me explain my dynamics to the members. Alex tried to pursue me, but when I refused in the kindest way possible, he flipped and tried to ruin my reputation publicly.
You suck.
Which is why, after that, I never talked to him. Meanwhile, other members continued to hang out with him and brushed it off as a petty matter. Oh Lord, a petty matter. This is the thing about like coming to terms with the fact that people that you're friends with are not great people.
That's a damn shame.
You know, I had a conversation the other day where I went out to dinner with a group of people that I used to see all the time, but they're still friends with my ex. I happen to know that my ex is a complete douchebag, like literally like borderline narcissist, creep, weirdo. And, you know, of course, when it got a little messy and I kind of discovered who he was, it was very hard to get people kind of on my side. But when I tell you that I went to this dinner and finally, I have been vindicated. It was like an entire evening of them telling me that I was right. And you know that gets me going, honey. Ooh. It takes people a little while to come around because unfortunately they need to see it for themselves. I really wish people would just listen because ultimately they're also saying that they don't necessarily trust your opinion, nor do they feel like being loyal to you is a good enough reason to stop hanging out with a certain person.
You can't do that. You can't do that to friends.
Okay, so back to the story. Marie and I had a falling out after I figured she lied to me, basically about everything. I never confronted her, just got distant. Marie and Fred broke up because he told her she wasn't the girl one could marry, and then she got married to his elder brother. Oh, a tale for another time. I mean, I kind of want to know that tale, I'm not gonna lie. Yina had a major crush on Fred and would tell him all the gossip about Marie to him, and their hate just got extra. Either way, after 5 years, I was announced to be valedictorian of the batch of 2019, and it made me happy, like the only good thing that happened in a while. Yina was in second place. I did feel guilty, I don't know why, and hence I didn't celebrate my success openly so she might not get hurt. This is the thing about excelling in life. You think that life is about, you know, succeeding, and you think that it kind of is. Like a lot of life is about, you know, overcoming problems and celebrating your wins, right? It can't just be about suffering the whole time because then life isn't really worth living. But the unfortunate thing is that when you win, you start to realize how few people actually clap for you, and that doesn't mean that you shouldn't win, but it's like it makes you apprehensive about sharing that you've won. Because unfortunately, you find out that your friends aren't really your friends.
I can't believe you did this to me!
Now, 3 weeks ago, I got a text from my junior about Fred that he was harassing her after they broke up. I didn't want to get into the mess, so I asked her to report him and move forward, but it was then that she told me Fred claimed I had a crush on him and I wouldn't stop chasing him. That angered me because for me, being framed for liking Fred is an insult. The man is the biggest narcissist and gaslighter. I confronted him and he tried to gaslight me by saying that his ex also talked crap about me to him. So I shouldn't believe her, and also tried to claim he did so much for me and I'm ungrateful. Mind you, we were never close, so I don't know what he did for me to be grateful about. I just blocked him and forgot about it. That evening, I got a call from my senior asking why I wasn't participating in a mandatory workshop. When I told him I didn't know anything about it, he told me he asked Yina to inform me. She then told him that I wasn't interested. Okay, so she's sabotaging you a little bit. She out here sabotaging you because she's jealous.
It's a trap.
The workshop was important because the ones who don't take it would get their bar license suspended. So basically, she was screwing my whole career over. Okay, so not just like sabotaging a little bit, like sabotaging a lot. I decided to stay silent on it, and I started attending the workshops. I met her there, and she was so sugary sweet. The organizer of the workshop, a senior lawyer, texted me that our bar is making a committee, and he would like me to be a part of it as I'm the valedictorian. I was hesitant, but I agreed to it. Cut to a week ago. I got to know that I was cut from the committee because Fred was the chairman and didn't want me there. Some friends you got, bestie. What the fuck? Although it made me angry, I decided he just wanted drama, so let's stay away from his provocation. The next day, another committee was announced with me as the member, and it did make me happy. But Yina decided to text me and quote, "Everyone is surprised you are part of the committee because you don't deserve it."
Hold up.
How big is that stick that Yina got up her ass? I gotta tell you. I was taken aback by her text and asked her why. Then she started saying it was a joke, etc. I left her on scene. Marie also called me and told me to patch things up with Fred because I was being petty, and he would accept my apology because he's a kind person. Okay, so what about when he got you kicked off of that like committee thing? I don't know if kind people do that. I was hurt because she knew how Fred was, and he did the same thing to her once. But now he's her brother-in-law, so she's protecting him. Norman also decided to remove me from the group chat and privately text me saying, "Please don't ever ask us to add you again because everyone hates you."
Are you trying to do this whole compassionate friend thing? Because you really suck at it.
I asked him why he would say that. He replied that it's true and they just don't say it to my face. I feel like this is also a case of someone is going behind your back and saying things that just aren't true. But even then again, like when friendships kind of fall out, sometimes friendships come to an end, but you don't need to be like terrible about it. Like you can still be cordial. I feel like they're doing all of these things really unprovoked unless they know something you don't. Although I was hurt, I was confused too because why would they be so hostile to me? It wasn't until I heard Yina saying she deserved to be valedictorian and I stole it from her, there it is, that it all made sense. I don't know why that day I had a meltdown. I couldn't stop crying because all the harsh behaviors, and after all the crying came the anger. I decided enough was enough, and I decided to expose that Fred and Yina were having an affair. I knew this because I caught them making out once and they asked me to keep it a secret. See, this is another reason why they kind of want you out of the friend group is because like number one, Yina is resentful of you, Fred is resentful of you, and they're probably trying to ostracize you from the group because you know something that would hurt their reputations.
You're starting to get a reputation.
Fred was involved with a lot of other girls while hooking up with Yina, and Yina was also sending me screenshots of Fred's conversation with her and other girls crying that he doesn't value her. I posted the entire thing online and decided to sleep, only to be woken up by multiple calls and texts from the entire group. They added me back in the group chat and tried to shame me that I shouldn't have done this and I took it too far. Yina can't stop crying while Fred blocked her. My sister said that I maybe overreacted. Am I the a-hole for doing this? P.S. Sorry, English is my second language, so I took the aid of Grammarly to rephrase and kept it as brief as possible. But some of you think it's fake, so here's my original draft, no matter how confusing. It's not confusing. I got you. You good. It's always funny to me when a-holes call you an a-hole because you just told people that they're a-holes and why they're a-holes. And they act like you ruined their life and you did all this horrible shit, but it's like, okay, but if you didn't do anything, then there would have been nothing to tell. They already kind of think that you're going around saying bad stuff about them and like, ruining things for them, etc. So it's like, at this point, if they already think that about you and that's what they're telling people, then you might as well do it. Devil's advocate, you could have just like gotten rid of the whole friend group and not done a thing. They were kind of coming for your future. So I don't really like that at all.
Whoa! I don't like it.
In this case, you could have just let your revenge be success. But if they're preventing you from obtaining that success and they're going out of their way to do that, I feel like you're kind of justified. My only worry is how is this gonna go, like how is this gonna bite you in the butt,
Bit me directly in the buttocks.
That's why sometimes it's not always the best idea to like go out of your way, because you're not dealing with rational people. You're dealing with people who bite first. I'm interested to know what happens when they bite back. Not the a-hole. You took so much crap from so-called friends that wouldn't pour water on you if you were on fire. Block them and leave them to their pathetic little lives. They don't matter. You matter, and your mental health matters. OP responded, thank you, I did block them all. I mean, realistically, like, I understand that you're friends and you're friends in college and stuff like that, but like, I can only think of like maybe one person that I'm friends with still from university days. Like, once you leave university, you're gonna have an entire group of friends that's like entirely new, that like isn't tainted.
Freedom, 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 oi! Freedom, 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 oi!
For someone going on to be a lawyer, you really need to try and not let these things get to you, to be honest. Other lawyers are going to get so much ammunition out of this, making you look bad to clients in possible workplaces. Never forget, once it's online, it can't be removed. Yes, I also agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that. I think that there could have been a way to get back at the group by not, putting yourself in the line of fire. The best revenge is always living your best life, standing above these stupid things. Never show that it gets to you, and never stoop to the level of stupid people. Yeah, I mean, I totally get where people are coming from. It's honestly a little bit split. It's not that you're an a-hole, it's that like, are they even worth it? You have to decide if people are worth it. That extra energy, right? They might be people that would stoop to that level, but are you? Not the a-hole. You're justified in what you did, but for next time, it's honestly, I don't know if it's even worth it. Like, these people are petty and like not as smart as you and not as good as you. So maybe next time, don't let things like this bother you, or at least try not to act on it. Moving on. All right, we got some more best friend drama for you guys. Because we got time for that today. We got lots of time. We got 3 hairs past a freckle. This story is from True Off My Chest. My childhood friends scammed me, so I ruined her relationship. We did 1st and 2nd grade 2007 together, and then I left the country and we reconnected in 2017 through Messenger. We talked romantically, but it instead got toxic since it was long distance, so I ended it. At the beginning of 2021, I visited my home country to attend a wedding, and once I landed at the city, I hit her up. I went to her apartment complex. We hang out at the indoor park, talk about our childhood, and she mentions that she has a boyfriend and she was getting married, so I never made a move. We go for a walk, and I tell her I want to go to a currency exchange office because I was carrying USD. They were all closed, so we head back to her apartment. It was already too late, so I told her I had to go. Before leaving, since this was during COVID, all places had tight visit hours, so she told me we had to bribe the doorman or he would cause problems with management. I only had 20s and 100s, and she knew that, and told me to pay him $5. Since I didn't have change, she offers to take a bill and go up to her place and get me some change. I gave her a $20 bill and waited for her. I wait, and she doesn't come down. So I text her, and I said nothing. I go to the doorman and tell him what's going on, and he tells me there's no issues with visits at this time.
I got tricked into all those things.
She comes out on the balcony and tells me those $20 are not going to make me rich and neither will make you poor. So get the hell out of here. She just stole from you? I was fuming on my way home, not because of the money, but because I was lied to, stolen from, and abandoned. I felt very disrespected, so I wanted to teach her a lesson. I scrolled through her followers on Instagram and tried to find her boyfriend. FBI mode was on, and I found him right before she blocked me. I screenshot our conversation of her inviting me over, sent them to her boyfriend, telling him she's cheating, and I didn't know she had a boyfriend. Oh. I mean, Okay, I'm just gonna go out on a limb here and say that you didn't even have to really lie and say that she was cheating. You're lying, right? You're lying.
Lies, lies, lies.
Yeah, you're lying. I feel like you didn't really have to say that she was cheating and lying about it. I feel like you could have also just like told her boyfriend what she did, and it would have had a very similar effect. He calls me to explain, and he was convinced. He went to the apartment to check the cameras and saw me, which made the story believable. She unblocks me and explodes through text, insulting my existence. And I acted nonchalant, telling her to stop denying the truth. The guy keeps texting me and suddenly asks, did you give her $20? I told him yes, for the good service, lol, oh dear. And then he tells me she took him to get ice cream with that money. Ooh, you got some dusties. These are some dusties. Yeah, this is like weird. I get why you did what you did, but I also feel like you didn't have to lie about it, you know? You didn't have to lie. You could have just told the boyfriend that she's a little scammer. I feel like that would have had the same effect. It's not necessary to lie, especially when, like, she actually did something, like, kind of illegal. She stole from you and was like, you about it. I'm guessing had she simply asked you for $20, you probably would have given it to her. OP responds, even $100 I wouldn't have minded, but she chose the path of destruction and got clapped back. Yeah, she was very unapologetic about it, eh? She was just like,
Yeah, I stole from you. Suck my wiener.
I love this. My favorite part is how she felt so haughty and badass. OP responds, she told me her boyfriend was paying for her breast implants and a BBL. Guess who didn't get a breast implant and a BBL? Was it her? Was it her? Yeah, it was. I'm gonna say, do I want to give this an everyone sucks? I know it's not an am I the a-hole, but I feel like I get the pettiness. I don't know if the lying was necessary. I don't. I think that you could have exposed her to her boyfriend with just like the facts.
Fact.
But it is what it is. Oh, next case. All right, we got one more. We got one more spicy one.
Spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
My best friend ghosted me before my wedding. Am I the a-hole for letting her? Order in the court. I, 29 female, had a best friend, Laura, 29 female, for almost 12 years. We met in college, bonded over our tough family relationships, and remained close despite only ever having 2 real fights. One about her unwillingness to drive on highways, which I meant I always made the 3-hour drive to see her. In 2017, I started a new job and became friends with a coworker, Cole. She later introduced me to her longtime friend, Dennis. In late 2019, Dennis and I went on our first date. When COVID hit, it accelerated our relationship and we moved in together. After things settled down, I tried multiple times to arrange for Dennis and Laura to meet, but she always seemed to blow it off. I honestly don't even remember when they finally did meet. In the summer of 2022, Dennis and I moved about 1,000 miles away. A lot of our old friendships naturally faded, but my relationships with Laura and Cole remained strong. Even though we weren't seeing each other in person as much, we still talked just as often. When Laura's grandmother passed away, I made sure to fly back to attend the funeral and support her. Then, in May 2023, Dennis proposed. Since we live far from most of our friends and family, he planned the proposal and an engagement party to happen during a visit back to our home state. He worked with my sister and Cole to plan a surprise. I had no idea it was happening, and obviously had no say in who was involved. Laura was invited to the engagement party, of course, but when she showed up, she seemed distant. I figured it was just because she didn't know a lot of people there. She f***ed Dennis.
Boo, you whore.
Her and Dennis did this. When it came to choose my bridal party, I made my sister maid of honor since our relationship had significantly improved over the year. I also asked 4 bridesmaids, including Laura and Cole, and everyone accepted without issue. My sister planned my bridal shower and bachelorette party. I decided on a good old-fashioned girls' sleepover with matching pajamas, air mattresses, and just hanging out like we used to. The plan was for me to travel home, have the bridal shower during the day, and then the bachelorette sleepover that night. Ooh, fun! 3 weeks before the shower, Laura texted me saying she'd hurt her neck, and she didn't think she'd be able to do the sleepover. I told her no worries and asked if she still planned to travel up to my new state for my wedding since she hadn't mentioned anything about a flight yet. Her response was a casual duh, which made me laugh. Over the next 3 weeks, we kept talking like normal. She was responding to my texts, giving me advice on my dress and accessories, and acting like everything was fine. Then, on the day of the shower, she just didn't show up. No text, no explanation, nothing. And I never reached out. It's been 9 months and we haven't spoken.
You can be very inconsiderate sometimes.
Am I the a-hole for never following up? Should I reach out all this time later and ask what happened? Okay, so it's always interesting when you realize that unless you're the one putting the effort into the friendship doesn't really exist.
Fake news.
I want you to try something. The next time you're kind of like confused about a friendship and you feel like you're the only one ever reaching out to like make plans and stuff, I want you to like see what happens when you don't say a thing. If that person doesn't reach out, doesn't think about you, doesn't make an effort, you have your answer. And who knows what's really going on? Like maybe she's a little resentful because you got married first. Maybe she liked Dennis. Well, she never met Dennis. I feel like maybe she's just a little bit resentful that you're getting married. There's not a lot of context. Like I feel like you didn't really pick up on any of these things. It kind of came out of nowhere. But it says a lot, doesn't it? Ghosting your like longtime childhood friend before their wedding, a little weird. Edit to add, in April 2024, I had to fly to home state for my grandmother's funeral. She didn't come. Okay, so again, like I said, it sort of seems like you're the only person that's actually putting effort into this friendship, hence why she doesn't want to drive on highways and you're always the one going to see her. So you're there to support her, but she's not there to support you.
It's true.
This is kind of like the reality of getting married. Like you really do find out who your friends are. You find out who your friends are when you're getting married and when people die. And it's like, you know, these are happy times. These are also times where you need support. And it's when people kind of show their true colors. So as much as getting married is great and fun, it also has like a bit of a dark side to it. I've learned this. I was married in November 2024. She didn't come. We ended up having a very small wedding, so we didn't have an official wedding party anymore with matching outfits. Basically, the wedding was the people who would have been the bridal party plus a few extra. Top comment says, not everyone is meant to be in our lives forever.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen.
It's just one of those things where, you know, if you're the only person putting effort into the friendship, like, it's not a real friendship. It's like, wow, you didn't think about me. You didn't think like, I should probably be there to support them. Like, I want to lift them up. Like, that didn't cross her mind at all. It's because she didn't want to. Not to be dramatic, but are you sure she's alive? Yes, she's very active on social media, posting while out a bunch. You didn't let her ghost you. She ghosted you and you accepted it. Was she possibly irked you made your sister your maid of honor and not her and let it fester? OP responds, that's another perspective I thought about. When we first met, I wasn't close with my sister. So Laura and I had talked about being each other's maid of honor with several different grooms over the years. However, with time and family stuff happening, my sister and I became very close. I think it kind of goes without saying that if you're doing a bridal party, like sisters kind of trump best friends and you kind of need to be okay with it.
Hi, sisters.
I also absolutely know, once dating Dennis 5 years ago, I never mentioned her as a maid of honor again. From the day she bailed on meeting him for the first time, I got an off-putting feeling. And when I told her my sister was my maid of honor, she's like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Your relationship has mended so much over the years. So yes, it could be entirely possible. Like a lot of people are saying maybe she's butthurt that like you didn't make her maid of honor. I mean, she's never even met Dennis. Like she's never even met your fiance or your husband now. I don't know. This is the thing about having bridal parties, man. This is why I don't have one, because like you're basically like ranking your best friends and the people close to you. And I think that we all need to like be okay with it if like a sister is maid of honor or a brother is best man. At the end of the day, it's like best friends come and go. Family is forever.
We're an unusual family.
Case in point. So she didn't go to the wedding, no present, nothing, not even a card. OP responds, nothing. I know it's totally superficial, but she didn't like the bridal shower post or say anything like,
oh my gosh, fun. I wish I could have been there.
I feel like there's missing context. She didn't show up and you weren't concerned or hurt. You didn't even say, hey, are you okay? I guess the context is she has a habit of not showing up. For my grandmother's funeral, she told me she was coming. It was about an hour away from her. She also didn't show up to that, but then texted me that night and said, sorry, work got busy. The type of job she works ends usually around 3 p.m. Funeral service was until 8 p.m.
You think you're too cool for school.
Honestly, like she hasn't shared a lot of context and I agree, but I think that knowing what I know, I've definitely had friends where when I don't put the effort in, our friendship literally dissipates. Like I had a friend that I like genuinely, truly loved. Sometimes I would text her, she would take forever to respond, sometimes like a week. And I would always be the one inviting her to stuff. And then after a while, I just kind of thought, like, I'm not a fan, you know? Like, this is not, like, I wonder what's gonna happen if I just never reach out. And it's not that I don't like her. It's just that, like, I wanted to see what would happen if I never reached out. And sure enough, we, like, barely talked. I think she sent me, you know, a text a few months after I got engaged to congratulate me. And, like, I texted her Merry Christmas. She didn't respond, and that was it. That's our friendship. And, you know, if we had kept in touch, I probably would have invited her to my wedding. And sometimes it's just people drift and they don't really consider you important enough, or maybe they have new friends or whatever. And that's all it is. So are you the a-hole for never following up? I mean, no, you're not the a-hole for letting her ghost you. Like, let's remove the blame on that. It kind of just sounds like this friendship has run its course. Not the a-hole. Subscribe.